You know what separates a millionaire Forex trader from someone who blows their account every 3 months? It's not some secret indicator, it's not insider information, and it's definitely not luck. It's a 2,500-year-old Chinese philosophy that Wall Street doesn't want you to know about. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why the most successful traders in the world swear by this ancient discipline, while everyone else is out here gambling their rent money on the next Euro-USD spike. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share completely changed how I approach the markets. The problem with Western trading mentality. Let's talk about how most American traders approach the market. We're raised on hustle culture, right? Work harder, do more, take massive action, grind until you make it. And look, I'm not saying hard work is bad, but in trading, that mentality will absolutely destroy you. I remember my first year trading. I was glued to my screen for 12 hours a day. I'm talking multiple monitors, 50 indicators, news feeds running constantly. I thought I was being professional. I thought I was putting in the work. I have this belief that if I just watched the charts long enough, if I analyzed every single tick, I'd crack the code. You know what happened? I overtrade like crazy. I'd see a setup that was 70% there and convince myself it was good enough. I'd exit winning trades early because I was watching every pip movement and getting scared. I'd hold losing trades way too long because I was so invested in being right. My account went from $5,000 to $1,800 in 3 months. And here's the kicker, I wasn't alone. This is the American trader's disease. We think more action equals more results. We think if we're not trading, we're not working. We treat the Forex market like it's a 9-to-5 job where you get paid by the hour. But the market doesn't care about your work ethic. It doesn't reward you for screen time. It rewards patience, precision, and most importantly, knowing when not to trade. The Chinese figured this out thousands of years ago with Wu Wei. The idea is that you align yourself with the natural flow of things. You don't force, you don't fight. You wait for the river to carry you instead of trying to swim upstream every single day. Quick reminder, if you're finding value in this, hit that subscribe button. We drop trading psychology and strategy content every week that'll actually make you a better trader, not just sell you another course. So, what does Wu Wei actually look like in Forex trading? Let me paint you a picture. There's this concept in Chinese philosophy called the uncarved block. It represents potential, simplicity, staying in your natural state. In trading terms, it means not cluttering your strategy with 100 different systems. It means having a simple, proven approach and trusting it. Most traders have what I call indicator addiction. They've got Bollinger Bands, RSI, MACD, Fibonacci retracements, pivot points, moving averages. Their charts look like a rainbow exploded on them. They think more tools mean more edge. But here's what actually happens. They get conflicting signals. One indicator says buy, another says sell, so they freeze. Or worse, they pick whichever one confirms what they already want to do. Wu Wei says strip it down. Find what works, remove everything else. A master trader's chart often looks boring. Maybe 1 or 2 indicators, clean price action, simple support and resistance levels. That's it. But here's where it gets deeper. Wu Wei isn't just about simplicity, it's about effortless action. That means you're not forcing trades. You're waiting for the market to present you with opportunities that align with your strategy. And when they appear, you act decisively, without hesitation, without second guessing. Think about water for a second. Water doesn't force its way through obstacles. It flows around them. It takes the path of least resistance. But over time, water carves through mountains. That's the power of Wu Wei. It's not aggressive, but it's absolutely relentless in its patience. In trading, this looks like having your setups defined and waiting for the market to come to you. You're not hunting for trades. You're not convincing yourself that a mediocre setup is good enough because you're bored. You're literally doing nothing until the perfect opportunity presents itself. I'll give you a personal example. Last year, I was watching GBP USD during the London session. I had my strategy, I knew what I was looking for. For 3 hours, nothing set up. My old self would have forced something, would have talked myself into a trade because I was putting in the work. But instead, I did nothing. I literally went and made breakfast, came back, checked the charts, still nothing. Went to the gym, came back around the New York session, and there it was. Perfect setup, clean entry. I took the trade, set my stop loss, set my take profit, and walked away.
That trade made me more in 4 hours than I used to make in a week of overtrading. That's Wu Wei. That's effortless action. The discipline to do nothing until doing something is the obvious choice.
The 3 pillars of Chinese trading discipline. Now let me break down the 3 core pillars of this Chinese discipline that'll transform your trading. Pillar 1, patience over action. In Chinese culture, there's a proverb that says, "A patient person rides a donkey while looking for a horse." What does that mean? It means you don't settle, but you also don't rush. You take what's available while waiting for what's ideal. In trading, this means you can be in smaller positions or even flat while waiting for your A-plus setups. You're not forcing yourself to always be in the market. You're comfortable sitting in cash, knowing that the perfect trade is coming. Most traders can't do this. They see the market moving and they panic. "I'm missing out. I need to be in." That's fear-based trading. That's how accounts die. The patient trader understands that the Forex market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. There will always be another opportunity. Always. Missing one trade means nothing. Forcing a bad trade can mean everything. Pillar 2, emotional detachment. The Chinese philosophy of Taoism teaches something called the observer mind. It's the ability to watch your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. In trading, this is absolutely critical. Every trader feels fear when they're in a losing position. Every trader feels greed when they're up and wants to risk more. Every trader feels FOMO when they see a pair running without them. The difference is whether you act on those emotions or simply observe them. Here's a practical example. You're in a trade. It's going against you. Your stop loss is set to a logical level, but you're watching it get closer and closer. Fear kicks in. Your brain starts screaming, "Get out now, save what you can." That's the emotion. A disciplined trader observes that fear, acknowledges it's there, but trusts their system. They let the stop loss do its job. They don't panic exit and then watch the trade reverse for a winner. On the flip side, you're in a winning trade. Greed kicks in. "This is going to run forever. I should add to my position." A disciplined trader observes that greed but sticks to their plan. They take profit where they planned to take profit. They don't get greedy and watch a winner turn into a loser. This emotional detachment isn't about being a robot. It's about creating space between stimulus and response. The market does something, you feel something, but there's a pause before you act. In that pause lives discipline. Pillar 3, trust in the process. There's a famous Chinese story about a farmer and his horse. His horse runs away and the neighbors say, "Such bad luck." The farmer says, "Maybe." The horse comes back with wild horses and the neighbors say, "Such good luck." "Maybe." His son breaks his leg taming one of the wild horses. "Such bad luck." "Maybe." Then war breaks out and his son doesn't have to fight because of his broken leg. "Such good luck." "Maybe." The point? You can't judge individual events. You have to trust the process over time. In trading, this means you don't judge your system based on one trade, one day, or even 1 week. If you have a proven edge that wins 55% of the time with a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you're profitable long-term. But in the short term, you might lose 5 trades in a row. That's not your system failing. That's probability playing out. Most traders abandon their strategy the moment it hits a rough patch. They're constantly system hopping, looking for the holy grail. But the Chinese discipline says stick with what works. Trust the process. Execute your edge consistently and let probability work in your favor over hundreds of trades. I went through a phase where I had 7 losing trades in a row. 7. My old self would have completely changed strategies, convinced everything was broken. But I'd developed this discipline by then. I reviewed each trade. They were all valid setups. I executed them correctly. The market just didn't cooperate. That's trading. I kept going. The next 15 trades, 11 winners. My account recovered and then some. That's trusting the process. Practical application. So how do you actually implement this Chinese discipline starting today? First, simplify your approach. I want you to look at your charts right now. How many indicators do you have? If it's more than 3, you're overcomplicating. Strip it down to what actually gives you an edge. Remove the noise. Embrace the uncarved block. Second, create a rule for yourself. No forced trades.
I'm serious about this. Before you enter any position, you need to be able to say out loud, "This meets all my criteria, and I would take this trade even if I'd already made money today." If you can't say that honestly, don't take the trade. That's Wu Wei. That's waiting for effortless action. Third, practice emotional observation. Start journaling not just your trades, but your emotions during those trades. I felt fear when the trade went -5 pips. I felt greed when I was up 20 pips and wanted to add more. Just observe and write it down. Over time, you'll create that space between feeling and action. That's where discipline grows. Fourth, define your process and commit to it for at least 100 trades. Not 10, not 20, 100. Because you need enough data to see if your edge actually works, and you need to experience the wins and losses that come with probability. Trust the process, not individual outcomes. And finally, embrace doing nothing. I know this sounds counterintuitive in a hustle culture, but some of the most profitable trading days are the ones where you take 0 trades because nothing's set up correctly. That's not laziness, that's discipline. That's Wu Wei. That's the Chinese discipline that turns traders into millionaires. I'll see you in the next one. Trade smart, stay disciplined, and let the market come to you.